Bro, mechanics are ruining the world. Not you honest, good, loving, truthful ones, but and actually some of you loving, truthful ones, but the ones who are good, loving, and truthful. Y'all can ignore this message because y'all the minority that we appreciate. But the rest of y'all who is not actually good at the craft, y'all messing up the game because this is engineering, okay? Like, I was gonna go into mechanical engineering. Really, I was gonna go into acoustical engineering, but I knew I was gonna have to study mechanical engineering and get into learning circuitry. A lot of those things I played around with as a kid. I'm a smart person when it comes to tech, and I love learning new tech. I bought my car so that I could force myself to understand cars at the highest level. Reason being, I've been surrounded by so many mechanics, including my dad. And my dad is considered a simple person to a lot of people, but he's very, very intelligent, very, very wise, and he understands how cars work. Why? Because he's just been working around them his entire life. I realized, my dad been having me around him, pulling apart cars. Sorry, they're taking the garbage out. What a time for me to come to the front. Let me go to the back until they're done. Nowadays, these guys don't even have to come out the vehicle. They just use the truck arm and just grab up all your bins and stuff. Anyway, so these dudes, they're just in it for the money. A lot of it. Not a lot of them are really wise and smart and understand order of operation and just how and why a car is put together the way it is. Like, they just go and take a course so they can know the bare minimum so that they can do the job, or they go and they're being tutored, or what do you call it, apprentice under someone who don't really understand, have a passion for and a love for cars, so it doesn't rub off on them. Like, I just feel like the entire game is full of people like that. And then there's a lot of folks who's actually very talented, know what they're doing, but they're still caught up in the game because the game is what it is. It's this money hungry thing. And I was explaining that, when I was young, I would just get into this for fun. Like, I would, not really for fun, 'cause I didn't like mechanic work, I didn't like cars. But as I started getting older and I started appreciating the engineering, I appreciate what a car really is. Like, a bunch of different engineered pieces brought together and amalgamated. Like, it's a really beautiful concept when you think about it. When you think about society, when you think about all these other types of units that have to work together with different moving parts. Anyways, the point is, I have my German car out here, and I'm realizing they love overcharge for the blood clot German car, bro. They love overcharge for BMW things, bro. Anything BMW related, they just want to overcharge. Why? Because it's imported? Because we need to cut that, man. There's ships pulling up here every day. Like, it was going to be here regardless. Like, we need to cut that. Like, majority of these things were going to be pulling up here regardless. So there's no additional cost for stuff like how we surmised it back in the 80s, 60s, and 50s, turn of the century. We can't look at the thing the same way now in 2025 and say, something's expensive because it's a quote-unquote import, especially when it's already here. So I was able to buy this car cheap. But people are dashing away these cars because it's difficult to fix them. But it's not difficult to fix, my youth. You just need to understand engineering, understand order of operation. For instance, you can't just walk into your home. It's not built like that. You could be like, dang, you know what? I'm going to change it then and get a home where I can just walk through the door. But for that ease, you would be compromising safety. So you stay in your home and you understand using the key, turning the lock to open that door. That is exactly what a BMW and majority of these German cars are. They just have a lock in front of it that you need to understand the key in order to open it to get to what you need to do. So right now, I'm about to change my light bulb. Like, I'm not gonna do it right now, but I'm at least do the pre-work because I watched a 1-2 video. I realized it's pretty simple. I've ripped apart engines with my dad chilling, like just chilling. Like, I never really put together an engine, but ripped apart engine, rip apart transmission, rip apart beer things, because we were doing scrap. We were selling the metal for scrap, making money. So I realized, dang, I actually know how to pull apart a car. If we couldn't, like, if we got lazy and didn't actually want to get the tool, the right tool, we just, get the Sawzall and just chop the car in half and stuff like that. But no, I would spend time and have to pull apart this and pull apart that, because a lot of the times my dad wanted to sell it without it being broken. So now I'm looking at this vehicle and wondering, like, why these mechanics breaking their brain over things just because there's a cover on it that requires a few more screws. That's it. That's like all it is. Like, for instance, this, for me to change the light here, I don't have to pull this out and do all this kind of stuff. All I got to do is take this off. To take this off, this just requires regular, what do you call it? Star head screwdriver. That's it. Pull off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever. Probably some of these pins I gotta screw or get a special screw, or probably I won't even have to pull this off. I can access it without having, you know what I mean? Underneath my vehicle, there's a guard so that snow. Okay, these guys are bad. Yeah, there's a guard underneath the vehicle, right? Like I said, you could be like, oh, we don't want a guard, like, so that when I need to check if an oil leak or check for this or check for that, I could just look underneath my car and see. But then during winter time, salty snow and water and all that can splash up into your engine, splash up and just dirty up the area and just dirty up your car and just rust out your car. So then it makes more sense to keep the guard. But tell me why my mechanic, after he finished changing my rotors, is putting the guard, like, he didn't put the guard back. It started flapping, making noise when I'm driving. And then for me, when I brought it back to him to fix it, he just takes off the guard and puts it in my hand and says, here, you don't need. Are you dumb? Is that difficult for you to figure out, oh, let me just get a replacement screw, or let me take the screw from this corner, put it in this quarter and compensate? Bruh, promise you, mechanics are ruining the world. 'Cause everybody, as you've been hearing since I'm outside, everybody drives. Everybody, like, everything requires vehicles, garbage, everything is transportation. And all those transportation vehicles require maintenance. And the man them who go and study, understand how these different pieces work together, are moving like they need to charge bumbleclot aerospace dynamic engineering prices for fixing your car just because it's import. But then when you go and do the personal research, go search for the part yourself, or just watch a YouTube video on the labor that it actually takes to do the work, you're like, does this guy want me to knock him out in his face? There's no job of physical labor, if I go work in a factory, go work nowhere, where me doing a certain amount of hours of work is getting me thousands of dollars. Like, no. There's no place I could get hired right now and get paid per hour to do some mechanic work, and they're gonna pay me what I have to go and pay a shop, bro. The whole game rates are mash. I would make more. I would understand if it's boutique, but this has motivated me to learn, to get my hands dirty, to be a man. Because that's why these prices is like this, because men don't want to be men. All of us should just know how to fix cars, bro. All of us should just know how to plant food, fam. Majority of the things that's expensive in the world because men that don't want to be men no more, bro. I gotta step my game up, because fuck. Shit crazy.